Before we get into the fascinating episodes of Community we're going to cover on today's episode, you and I do have some beef to squash real quick.
Yes, welcome to our Castra. We're going to talk
about which would be a terrible podcast, but it is an excellent segment on this podcast.
Yes.
So this will concern the film released almost a calendar year ago, Ad Astra. Starring Brad Pitt, Tommy Lee Jones, cameos by Natasha Lyonne, and he has a thankless wife character. I think it's like Liv Tyler, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Liv Tyler. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, you have Liv Tyler for like a nothing part, which is unfortunately the Liv Tyler story. But you and I are going to hash out some beef related to the movie Ad Astra. And listeners, if you don't want to hear debate back and forth about Ad Astra, I will include a time code in the description where you can completely skip that and listen to the thing you showed up here to listen to.
Hey, this is if you follow us on the twits, then you
on the
knew
socials,
that this was going to come. So
we warned you. We warned everyone.
You can
so
only
this
slightly be upset. This is
now is your last chance to get out. So get out while the getting's good. But yes,
is Natasha Lyonne in this movie, my dude?
She has scene, my good dog. She's like at the welcome center on Mars or some bullshit. Some bullshit in this fucking movie.
Mars is such a wild fucking idea in this movie. I love it.
Mars is a wild place. This movie is full of wild ideas that it is not interested in exploring. So anyone that followed us on socials saw us. It was friend of the show, Alex from 6 Seasons and a Podcast. He's been on our show. We've been on his. Great friend of the show. Was talking about the Netflix original show Away, which I've never heard of. It plays when I have Netflix up on the TV but haven't touched it in a while, and it shows me all of Netflix's offerings. That is the only. I think Natalie Portman is in it, or Natalie Portman lookalike.
It's Hilary Swank, dude. Chill.
Is the Swank? Well, in that spacesuit, she looks like fucking Natalie Portman, dog.
Natalie Portman's in a different space movie called Lucy in the Sky.
Lucy in the Sky, from the creator of Fargo, season 4 coming soon. So he said Away is better than Ad Astra, but not as good as The Martian. The Martian, a movie I quite like. Did you see The Martian?
Oh yes, big fan.
I think it's delightful. It's
delightful.
Exactly the kind of space movie I like. It scratches the same itch as Apollo 13, where it's like, this is a person in a tough situation in fucking space, where it's like the worst possible place to be in a tough situation. And they just have to like do simple tasks and simple problem solving to get themselves out of it. The Martian, check it out. Donald Glover is in it.
Yeah, I think we've even spoken of his specific
cameo previously on the show.
Yeah, we talked about him slipping and falling and being like, we'll retake it, right? And Ridley Scott being like, no.
Oh, that was great.
We're good. We're going to move on. And he was like, but I fell. Which is just very good.
You got to respect Ridley Scott, King of Space.
You don't have to respect Ridley Scott. He did do Exodus, Gods and Kings, in which he cast an all-white cast to play Egyptians. So you don't have to respect him. Also, he can't tell a good story in the Alien universe anymore. And that's why he's got his own show on HBO that's not in the Alien universe.
All right,
because he has too many stupid ideas in his brain.
It sounds like you and I are going to need to do Podmetheus here coming up, because that movie is better than people give it credit for.
Prometheus is fine. Alien Covenant's bunk.
Yeah, I didn't see Alien Covenant, but
okay, don't.
Okay,
You're
before
not
we get into Ad Astra, Prometheus, not a great film. Kind of a dumb film, but there's a lot of good stuff in it.
Yeah, if you can get past scientists doing shit that scientists wouldn't fucking do, then it's a fine movie.
I don't care. It's a horror, the rules of a horror movie. It seems to bother a lot of people.
Someone takes off their glove and touches an alien living specimen.
Yeah, that's dope. You should do that too if you get the chance.
That's so
fucking rules. But the starfish surgery rules.
It's very good.
The problem with Prometheus is that Ridley Scott is not interested in the same things that the audience of that movie seems to be interested in, where he is very interested in like robots as God toying with humanity. And the audience was like, no, tell us where the alien comes from. And it's like, what do you mean where the alien? Space! It came from space.
Yeah.
I don't need to see the origin of the xenomorph. It's a scary thing from space. Idiots. Anyway.
I think that you might be, we can't do Podmetheus because I'm your police chief. You're too close to this case, Kev.
Yeah, I'm really. Damon Lindelof did write Prometheus, so I think I'm too on the edge here.
But, Idris Elba's in it though, so I'm equally. You have to kick me out.
Idris is really good in that movie.
Idris is good in everything.
As the pilot of the spaceship, he's very good.
Very good.
My issue with Prometheus is that the short film trailers they made to promote it are excellent. And the movie is fine.
They're those shorts about what's the android's name?
The commercial for David.
The David,
where it's just like Michael Fassbender, like, "Hello, I'm a friendly robot."
And actually has ulterior motives.
And Guy Pearce doing like a TED Talk, like young Guy Pearce doing a TED Talk, are both excellent. They should just be at the beginning of the movie Prometheus, and then Prometheus is a fine enough movie. But I don't know. You got Idris, you got Charlize, you got Noomi Rapace, you got Michael Fassbender.
You've got almost Tom Hardy.
Yeah, you got
Logan Marshall Green.
Brian Austin. Yeah, Logan Austin Green. And you got fucking Rafe Spall. Like, I don't know how much more a movie needs for me than that. Honestly, they're in space.
The cast is phenomenal. Charlize Theron as the bad guy. Okay.
Yeah, rules. All right, here for it. Cool space captain Charlize. I literally don't care about any other aspect of the movie if you give me cool space captain Charlize Theron. That's great. All I care about.
Benedict Wong's in this movie too.
Yeah, Wong.
It's a great movie.
Wong rules. Good flick. Not a great flick. I'm not here to say like Prometheus is an underrated masterpiece, but like Prometheus is better than you gave it credit for in 2012, audience.
Better than everybody. Yeah. I walked out of that theater pissed because I thought it was going to be a prequel. And then only found out later that like Damon Lindelof showed up and like later and rewrote a script that was 75% prequel, 25% its own thing into a script that was 75% its own thing and only like 25% like we'll mention where the things come from. And I didn't learn that until like a week and a half after I saw it. So I remember like getting a time hop, which for those of you who are uninitiated and unaddicted to their phones, time hop is the thing that reminds you of the dumb shit you said in the past. I got a time hop that was me just bitching about Prometheus being the worst movie I'd spent money on, which is funny because I'm almost positive A, I didn't spend money on that movie. And B, almost a week later, I had to completely change my mind, but didn't think about deleting that
absolutely.
message.
It's a movie that has to serve two very different masters, and it isn't really interested in serving one of them. But also, like, what is a prequel to Alien? Like, it's a movie about space, like factory workers.
And also,
space truckers meet a bad alien. What prequel? What are you?
Well, like the idea of hang on, because H.R. Giger and his art are illicit enough, or not, maybe not illicit, but they are
illicit, sexually explicit.
They are. Giger's work is extremely sexual, but still.
Absolutely, my dude. It's all dicks and vajayjays.
Yeah, but his work and its influence on the movie, I think, is implicit in like a deep history that. Like the engineer's, the pilot seat with the engineer in it is in the first Alien. Is it focused on? Nah. But like, I'd love, when what I thought I was getting was a movie that was going to be focused on whatever happened to this ship that made it crash. And like a part of my realizing I liked Prometheus was realizing that movie is only about aliens with no people in it. And like, obviously that movie's not going to get made because sci-fi doesn't do well in the United States. Unless it's James Cameron, which is wild, and he's repeatedly done sci-fi
or people in America Marvel Cinematic Universe. Or
there's no Marvel movies that are sci-fi. I'll say that. I'll be the first to say that. There's no sci-fi Marvel movies yet.
The concept of a man that climbs into an iron suit that makes him a superhuman is a science fiction concept.
No,
and I know that like the Guardians work much more on it is. Yeah, that's an Asimov story. It's told differently than an Asimov story would be told, but like that's all there. Most of it is like fantasy. Like the Guardians operate on like a fantasy spectrum, but 90% of Thor Ragnarok is on like an alien planet.
But it's Thor, so it's inherently handcuffed by the fact that he's a god.
I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
I forgot about the Guardians movies, which are incredible movies and are absolutely probably more based in sci-fi than the others.
They're the two best movies in the whole franchise. There is magic in them, like there's space rocks and shit. But
I'm
also,
Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah, exactly.
But what I meant initially Yondu's incredible, and goddamn Guardians of the Galaxy for getting rid of him already. But
R.I.P. Or went out. Yeah, but it was good.
It was good, I mean? But like I could have done it a movie later. I could have had.
He could have become the new Iron Man for all I give. I would have watched. I would have watched 18 movies about.
He put on his mohawk, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, he's a Guardian of the Galaxy." No, but what I meant specifically by like sci-fi doesn't do well in America is if you look at serious, maybe not blockbuster in terms of what you think comes with blockbusters, like popcorn movies, but like highly produced, highly polished sci-fi. You get like Prometheus, you get Blade Runner, both of them, right? Neither of them did really well commercially, but they're huge. Both of them classics.
Did notably very poorly.
Yeah.
Both of them. And I think the original Blade Runner for most people is considered like an absolute stone cold classic.
It's incredible, yeah.
And I love the way 2049 looks. I'm not like crazy about the movie, but there's a lot of cool shit in that movie.
Yeah, for sure. And then I get
what you're getting at. Yeah, Ex Machina is a sizable enough success, but it's not a transcendent piece of science fiction. Same thing with Annihilation. Any Alex Garland joint, I guess.
Yeah, Alex Garland and Denis Villeneuve make movies that people watch if they're smart, but not movies that people watch if they don't take chances.
On mass. Yeah.
And like we're getting a Dune movie. And like Dune is the most sci-fi, wild, weird shit that we're gonna get for a minute because there's giant fucking sandworms. And it's gonna be wild. And that trailer is so good to me.
It's a really well cut trailer.
It's really well cut. It doesn't say shit.
The movie,
sure,
but it's a very well done. As an admirer of well cut trailers, the Mission Impossible Fallout trailer is one of the most remarkable 3 minutes I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's so good. That
and then the movie also rules. But I think that trailer deserves like a fucking special jury prize,
sure,
for accomplishment in trailer making. Yeah, and Dune, everyone like pee-pees, poo-poos in their suits. Yeah. It's a whole sci-fi thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. But back to our original reason we got into this.
So Podmetheus is over. Now we're moving on to podcast.
We did it anyway. Yeah. Read the tweet again so that we can reframe the conversation. The tweet was that far away. Is it just away?
It's just away. Which like okay.
Away is
come on.
Away's not as good as
another word in there.
Yeah, I wanted to. I said far away because I've tried.
I know. Like, please, God, stop calling shows just vague words. Like, you can have one-word titles, Community, Fargo, but they have to be at least like a little descriptive. Yeah. Archer. I'm like, okay, that's an evocative word. Away. But anyway, I'm not here to not. Okay.
Yeah. So it's better than It's not as good as The Martian, but it's better than Ad Astra. And I replied, excuse me, I just like burped in the middle of that. I just found out Alex Garland.
Jason's excitement hiccups.
I did.
Absence, yes.
I just found out that Alex Garland's writing the screenplay for the Halo film. So
yeah, that sounds good.
That could be great. Yeah, anyway, I'm suddenly interested again.
I love his movies. His show was boring as fuck, but his movies are very good.
Oh, I didn't watch Devs. I wanted to because it looked interesting.
The pilot of Devs rules, and then the second episode of Devs makes the bold choice of not focusing on anything I liked in the pilot and focusing on our really boring lead with her really boring mystery plot. And I was like, all right, Devs, this is where you and I part ways.
We have made bye.
You know how good Nick Offerman was in the pilot of Devs? Let's barely put him in the second episode.
Incredible. Hey man, sometimes you only catch goodness once and then it's gone. But anyway,
the pilot of Devs is a very good film. Okay. Anyway, keep going.
Okay. I'm done. Okay. I'm done. So my response to that tweet was merely like a question I thought was shooting into the ether. I should have known better. But I said, why do I feel like I'm the only...
I'm really bored at work.
I mean, I should have known better because it was a conversation with this community that's so active and interactive, but like still my brain was like, I'm gonna just send this one in and it'd be fine. And so I said, I feel like I'm the only person that really liked Ad Astra.
And you're not. Like I'm going to go on to my Letterboxd account and look at the reviews of Ad Astra from people that I follow. And in the lead up to this movie, it was like 5-star, 4.5, 4. Like it was all fucking excellent reviews. And that's why I was like, okay, I got to go see this movie in the theater. I cannot wait. And then I watched this movie and I said, Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, my review list, you can't see it. 4.5, 4.5, 4, 5, 4, 1, 3.5, 4.5.
Someone gave it a 1. That's incredible.
Yeah, dog. I gave it a 2 in the end. It is a remarkable visual piece. It needs a square one script rewrite, dog. A square script rewrite.
Why?
Because it fucking sucks. It's boring. I've seen too many movies about sad boys going into space to find their space dad.
Brad Pitt you've seen too many? Other than Guardians 2, tell me.
I mean, okay, I guess it's not necessarily space dad, but it's so reminiscent of fucking, I mean, everyone said Interstellar, and Interstellar is obviously true, but it's just the oldest I must go find my dad story. Brad Pitt's voiceover is, I'm sort of a voiceover apologist. If done well, it can be like a very effective tool.
Yeah.
My God, is it the worst voiceover in the last 20 years? It's just Brad Pitt describing shit that's already on screen. And I'm like, I know, Brad, I'm watching the movie. Like, the scene in this movie, it's like the co-pilot who's supposed to go out and fix the ship or whatever. I haven't seen this movie in a year. And the co-pilot is like shaking in his seat. He's like chewing his fingernails. It's like every scared person trope. And Brad Pitt goes, I could see that he was scared. I'm like, I know. Watching Ad Astra, just like you, Brad.
But I mean, you raise valid points, but like, I never saw those as indicators of a poor script or poor performance. Even I saw those as indicators of Brad Pitt playing a guy that's dry, calculated, and doesn't show emotion the whole fucking movie, because that's what he is. Like, they make a point of pointing out like 5 times in the first 30 minutes that like his heart rate never changes or never reaches above a certain level because he has such control over his emotions. And like, it then alludes to the fact that like addiction to control over his own emotions has led to like him not having a relationship and all this stuff. And then it prods you that it's because of his dad, who's a shitbird a little bit.
What I really love in a protagonist is a complete lack of emotionality. I love a character I can't relate to. I love a character that gives me nothing to emotionally hang on to. Now, okay.
You like Witcher, and you're coming at me with this heat, and
Geralt feels everything emotionally. Geralt is a very emotional man, despite what he says or wants to come off as. There's this lie in the Witcher universe that Witchers don't feel anything. Geralt feels shit constantly.
100%.
Love, lust, anger, hate, fear. Like, he feels it all. And
have you ever played a Final Fantasy game?
No, actually.
Fuck! Because half of their protagonists are emotionless douchebags.
Yeah, they suck. I think they're bad.
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
In a video game, I'm fine with like a blank slate because I'm playing the blank slate. Like, that's fine. You can do that in a video game where I am giving this character life. You can't do that when it's fucking Brad Pitt. And I am normally against what I call cinema sins bullshit, where we're just going to like pick apart every needly detail. Like, that's not film criticism. Saying like, why would Black Widow have made this mistake? She's a combat trainer. I'm like, right, people never make mistakes, cinema sins. But this movie has so much fucking hog shit logic that even I was like, my God, none of this makes an ounce of sense. Going to the moon is so pedestrian that it is essentially like airline travel. Like they hand you your peanuts, they give you your towel, you land on the moon and there's a fucking Subway sandwichery, and you drive 5 minutes away from the airport and you are actively being shot at by pirates. Making the moon so commercial that there is an Applebee's is an interesting idea, and I liked that idea. And then you immediately said, no, Pirate Moon. And I'm like, you cannot do Pirate Moon and Applebee's Moon. Those are two different moons. My dude.
No, I don't see. I disagree with that, because the moon's a military base. It's not pedestrian in any way.
They have stewardesses.
Yeah, they have stewardesses on flights to
average everyday travel. There are regular people all over that airport, and they're not catching a transfer. Going to the moon is so pedestrian in this universe.
But what else? But there's nothing on. Boring. But there's nothing on the moon, right? Like,
doesn't matter.
There's this place, and there's. So, but like, he lands on the moon in the airport, and like. Yes, there's a small settlement that's built there, but I don't see the moon as anything but an allegory to the wild.
There are franchise restaurants. The whole
that's airports. That's just airports. That doesn't denote any civility.
Not military base airports. And then, like Brad Pitt says in his illustrious voiceover, going to the moon had become like driving to, I can't remember, it's been a year, but it's just like driving to Florida. Like I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Like I'm watching this very pedestrian moon, and then Brad Pitt thinks I'm too stupid to get it, so Brad Pitt has to tell me about how commercial the moon
Remember the majority of people that watch Sci-Fi.
That is such an interesting idea. Like, we've made the moon so pedestrian. This place that seems so far away, it's a celebration every time we go there, and we've made it technology and travel has come so far that it's like going to Wisconsin, and that is so interesting. And then they throw it out immediately. The fucking plot of this movie is that Brad Pitt needs to get on a rocket to find his dad.
Hold on, I've got to finish talking about the moon before you start going into macro ideas.
Yeah, talk about the moon.
Because I don't think that any of the things you say about what they show of the moon before pirates attack is any evidence to disqualify the fact that it still may be a better representation of the Wild West than a resort. Like, just because there's an Applebee's there and like a Subway does not mean that like the whole moon is settled by one nation at all. And so the idea that the moon is this place that people are tussling over in the negative spaces between bases made a lot of sense to me. Like, if we are starting to settle the moon, then there's obviously going to be people that are going to take advantage of how dangerous it is to travel between separate spots, and how expensive and how valuable the resources that are taken between those things are going to be. And space pirates is an idea as old as fucking Star Wars. So like,
I love space pirates, but you can't give me Applebee's and space pirates.
No, but they did, and I loved it because of the dichotomy. Because if they'd given you a fully domesticated moon where nothing happens, it would have been like, what a cool idea, but you still would have been upset they didn't go deep enough into it. And so instead, you're like, oh, domesticated moon. Oh, wait, maybe not. And then they're gone. And then they never come back. And a rocket blowing up pirates on the moon was fucking cool. And that's all I wanted out of the moon, was a cool image. And that was what I got.
You know, their rover, like, floating away in zero or minimal G into the crater was kind of cool. But I, like, didn't care about any of it. Like, I don't care about what's happening to these people. Who is he with? Ed Harris? I feel like it's Ed Harris. Who is he with?
I think it's Ed Harris. Scene? I think it's Ed Harris. Ed
Harris? And he, like, dies in that scene. And you can because this movie is so echoing of fucking Apocalypse Now. Like, this movie is Space Apocalypse Now, which should be the best movie I've ever heard of. You give me Space Apocalypse Now, and you can do, like, this is a slow journey into madness, and madness claims all but our protagonist. That's interesting. You can do that. But they didn't make me care about any of these people, like the soldiers that randomly die because, like, Brad Pitt sneaks onto their ship and they all just, like, end up killing each other. Like, the space baboon that eats that guy's face. Like, you can do that, but you do have to make me at least present me with characters before killing off these randos. they say specifically in the movie, like going to Uranus, that's the farthest we've ever gone. The fact that Tommy Lee Jones is out there is knuckin' futz. And but you can just turn on autopilot and fall asleep and get to Uranus. That doesn't make any fucking sense within the internal logic of the movie that you've presented to me.
Why not? Hold on, why not? That's how it would...
Because, okay, if Uranus is the farthest we've ever gone, that implies that it's very difficult to get there. No. It's long. It would require active participation to get there, but you can just hit autopilot and just get there.
Well,
and
space travel is so macrocosm that like there is no participation that you could do that would take place on a daily basis. You don't aim at the planet and fly to it when it's that far away. You calculate where the planet's going to be in 6 months when you get there and fly straight. Because the systems aren't that complex. You have massive geospatial bodies that are moving in a decided pattern, and you calculate that pattern and aim for the spot you need to go, and then you do just go, and then you go to sleep, and you have to live by yourself on a ship for 3 months while you get there. But there's no micro calculations you have to make. It's space. There's no friction. There's no forces that are going to impact your ship. So that it may be the farthest we've gone because it takes the longest, as Kev takes a long drink of water.
That's not water, my dude.
I love it. It's the farthest it's the farthest we've ever gone, and like it's difficult because it's far, not because the trip would be physically hard to pilot. It's space. Unfortunately, space travel is boring. You go point, click, we're going there.
You know, I'm just going to put it out there. A lot of movies and shows and books and video games have made it very interesting. And I would encourage Ad Astra to take some fucking notes.
No, see, that's exactly why I liked this movie, because it made space dangerous and mundane, which is what it is. It's extremely dangerous, but also, if you push something in a direction, it will go that direction forever. So, like...
All right.
Dope. So you were saying it's about him going to his dad, who's at a station that's searching for aliens.
So he goes to find Tommy Lee Jones' dad, which, like, fine. You know, this is a movie. Okay, your dad is causing the end of the universe, and you're the only guy that can go get him. I will give a movie that much because the movie clearly lines out something is going on spaceship Tommy Lee Jones, and it is threatening to like tear the galaxy apart. We will not survive if Tommy Lee Jones continues to go unchecked. And so Brad Pitt gets all the way out there to fucking Uranus, lands there, and Tommy Lee Jones says like, yeah, there was a mutiny. Weird. And on the way out, they hit a button, and it started causing the end of the universe. What button did they hit? What switch did they flip that caused universe quakes? What fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? I don't need aliens, but like at least like give me something more than whoops. And the galaxy's gonna end, and Tommy Lee Jones didn't turn off the switch in like 20 years or however long. That's the dumbest shit. And it's stupid. It's fucking stupid. Spec Ops: The Line for Dummies is all this is. You can go. You can say your piece.
I don't know. I think you have I think you have a very deep beef with having had expectations upset.
Yeah, I like movies to be good, and unfortunately Ad Astra was
fuck
not.
You. Get the fuck out of here. No, like the premise of like we sent a ship out to search for extraterrestrial life, and then it didn't work. We found nothing. And then the crew lost hope and wanted to come home because they were on the edge of the solar system. But this motherfucker, Tommy Lee Jones, is so obsessed with his work that he's not going to allow anyone to go home. So he kills the whole crew. And like that process damages his ship irreparably. So he's just stranded out there and can't do anything because it's broken. And now the signal that they were launching out into space, which would have to have a tremendous amount of electromagnetic power, is now facing back inwards. And for years, those waves would have been missing Earth until they weren't, and now it's causing essentially solar flares from the other side. And like that takes some stretching, sure, but like I never thought at any point it was like this is dumb and trite. Like I will admit that like going to go see him being the only guy that can go do this is interesting. Like I get it, he's a career man, and they're like, hey, no one else he's not listening to anybody else. Maybe your dad will listen to you. I think that falls apart as soon as you have him tell them like, oh yeah, my dad never fucking talked to me. And then they're like, oh cool, fuck it. We're just going to launch a nuke at it.
Yeah, like, well, it's a movie and it's a more interesting film probably if it's like dad and son. I've seen enough daddy issue movies to like last me until my dying day, but okay, it's a movie. Go out into space and hug your dad because he never hugged you. Fine, whatever. But
also, like, I love that he gets to his dad and his dad's still a fucking asshole. And he's like, sure. Fuck you. No, I am home. I'm not going back. Fuck this. Like that was...
Yeah, I've seen Apocalypse Now. Like I know, like it's okay. Like I get it.
See, I haven't, so that might also be a thing.
Oh, okay.
I haven't
Once
taken the time to watch that.
Now, I'll
probably be like, Ad Astra did it better, because I watched it first. The way
I also know that you're not defending this as like the greatest movie ever made. Like, no, I know,
certainly not.
I know that I hated it, and you were like, "Oh, that was an interesting movie." Yeah. But now we've hashed it out on Podcastra.
Yeah, I should also as my last point, I should also point out that I take a weird liking to movies that go, you're going to expect something out of this, and we're not going to give it to you. And I'll curve my scores for that movie based on them doing that in an artful enough way that it doesn't feel like they lied to me. And so Ad Astra, I went into...
Usually I like that as well.
Yeah, Ad Astra, I went into like...
Prometheus.
Prometheus, sure. The Sisters Brothers is the first one I think of, which is that John C. Reilly, Joaquin Phoenix Western that like has all the auspices of a Western movie, like spaghetti Western movie, and instead endeavors to tell a story that's like much more, this is what life was probably more like. Shitty and sucked and not a lot happened. And And I like that movie a lot because it was that way. And so I think I liked Ad Astra because I went into it thinking it's good aliens. It's got to be aliens. And like a loving reunion. And instead it was like, nope, dad's a piece of shit. And the takeaway is there's nothing to write home about, which I made a comment on in the tweet thread because I'm going to find it because I thought...
Yeah, old Robbie Sherman.
I thought Robbie was making a pun and he wasn't. He just said he felt like the plot was nothing to write home about. And I said, I can't decide if this is a joke take or a convenient pun because the plot of this movie is literally there's nothing to write home about.
Yeah. And in concept, I like that idea that space is actually really boring. I just wish that the movie wasn't. So
also,
anyway,
how much of the weird stuff did he experience in space, or how much of it was him actually going a little crazy?
Oh, I hate that. If you want to talk about things I hate, it's like, is it real or is he going crazy? I don't show me shit that's not real, movie. Don't give me that.
We talked about Inception last week, and now Kev's like, fuck it.
Everything in Inception happens. Like that, say what, like the dreams aren't real, but it's happening to those characters. And there is no doubt, based on the logic of the movie, that Leonardo DiCaprio is no longer in a dream at the end of the movie. Like, based on the rules of the movie, he's not in there anymore. And the ending shot is symbolic rather than literal. It is literal, but we've talked about this with Chase on the show before.
Yeah.
Don't give me that like, well, he's losing his mind, and how much of this is real? I'm like, that sounds terrible. Why would I watch that movie? Why would I? Anyway, it's fine.
It's fine.
This has been a Talkback Podcast.
That was quite a show.